It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go. The Sinclair Show is on. It's on. Run into your friends. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is time. Sinclair is on the mic. Once again, it's so you still trouble in your home. Got you tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your well. Keep it moving, spirit flowing because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday 8 and 9 and it's on. Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show at night, people. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct from where? Down in North Carolina, because that's how we get down, people. Glad to be on the show tonight. And first, I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions and comments and things that's on your mind to the show so we can have some dialogue about things important to you. Because you know what? Believe it or not, people, y'all the chosen ones. Meaning, there would be no reason for me to be on tonight. I could be relaxing if it wasn't for you all, because y'all are that important to me that I just be wanting to spend a little time having dialogue with y'all. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have like the theme song says, don't miss a moment of the show, because the mailbag in places like that is full. We got some things we're going to talk about. It's going to be a little controversial. Now, I'm starting to believe that in 2024, we about 6 months into the year, but we done had about 12 months full of controversy, chaos, and calamity, if you will. I'm talking about people are out here in these streets just wilding out at all levels. And I just want y'all to know, tonight we're going to talk about something. And sometimes, you know, I might have a game plan, if you will. And my game plan might be, I'm going to talk about a specific subject matter and something will happen. And when it happens, it's just so mind numbing to me that I'd be like, you know what? Let me take this to the people and see if it's just me or is it them too that feels like these issues are a little imbalanced. So tonight, man, listen, people, and let me say this to my beloved population of diverse and quality women out there. The subject, the topics tonight is probably going to make a couple of y'all mad at me. Let me give me a little lemonade, if you will. Some of y'all are not going to be mad. You're going to be upset. Hopefully, all of you all, before you get them pitchforks out, you will begin to teeter on at least listening to some of the information. And then maybe you will be able to not only come up with a perspective, not judging whether or not my perspective is right or wrong, although I have a perspective and I'm entitled to a perspective. See, I'm going to tell y'all, like I had to say to somebody earlier today, I have a right to have a perspective and view on something just like you all do. I have a platform, so obviously I'm able to reach the masses. And before I forget, to my homies down in the beautiful place of Liberia. Yeah, see, y'all didn't know we be connecting with folks outside of the great US of A. Somebody from Liberia sent me something. Even though they be getting it on a delayed function, they told me they still love the show and that they say I be cracking them up. While that's not my goal, if I can make you laugh and understand, then I'm down for that, down with that. Let it be what it is. All right. So, as I was saying, you know, I had a little situation this morning. And you never know when something's gonna come in your purview, if you will, that'll just make you say, you know what, I'm going to begin today with was some conversation, and let me get my disclaimers up front. And I first of all, I see Gwendolyn Lady Elegance Pritchard up here. The Legal Beagle is up here early, and matter of fact, I need the Legal Beagle to be up here because y'all know sometimes, and for those of you who all don't understand how the thing runs when you are on social media, when you are on social media and you are saying things depending on the subject matter, the topic, and the parties who are involved, you have to make sure that you use phrases unless a situation has been proven or adjudicated already in court and a decision has been made about something, or unless you have firsthand knowledge. When you are a purveyor of social media, and if you have a platform and an audience, you have to be cognizant of the way you phrase something, because if not, you could find yourself potentially in some legalities, some legal issues. And so if you are listening and you hear me say that something allegedly occurred, or use phrases like "it may have been," or you hear me use a phrase that says "not all," I am simply ensuring in that moment that I have the legal grounds to continue to navigate that subject matter, but also ensuring that I am not making a definitive statement unless I have some way to factually be able to support it. All right. Is that right, Legal Beagle? Am I explaining the complexities appropriately of how you must navigate when you have a opinion and a platform? And let me say this to those, many of you all who have hit me up and asked me about doing podcast and things of that nature. And I always try to edge on the side of telling you that this is not simply a hobby. The moment that you get on and people begin to connect with you, you have a responsibility to understand that your words have actions, both can be good or bad. And so when you are saying things to keep yourself financially safe, legally safe, to not get sued and or wind up as a witness in court, then make sure that if you are beginning or functioning from a platform of a podcast or some social media presence, that you understand the difference between you being the news reporter and becoming the news. Because there is a fine line between someone being the news and becoming the news. All right. So let us begin with this. So the topic of tonight, as many of you have read, what's going on, James Key? Glad to see you. As many of you have read, the question that I posed when we posted up for the broadcast tonight was, do women of color place themselves out of the dating and or marriage market because of their mental, emotional thought processes in general? Now, there's a reason why I came around with that question. And it began this morning because shortly after I arrived on work, there are some people who get to work early. I am not the only one who enjoys an opportunity to get into the office early, get all my things accomplished. Nikki Carter, what's going on, girl? Glad to be here. And so when I got there early, there's another lady, and she's in her early 60s. If you looked at her, you would probably think that she was probably in her late 40s, early 50s at best. And So as we were passing, we normally speak and have a few pleasantries, and my executive admin was there as well. And so somehow during the midst of a brief dialogue, she spoke about an incident that occurred when she was at the gas station, a Sheetz gas station, to which she says, while pumping her own gas, that a man, in this case, it happened to be a black man, pulled up, assumably to get him some gas as well, but he was in the same vicinity as her. And he asked her, he said, "Hey, would you like for me to help you with that?" And to my shocking surprise, although I should not have been shocked, because this wasn't the first time that I've heard a statement similar, but not exactly like. She said that she asked him, "How you gonna help me? Are you gonna pay for this gas?" Now, me, I was shocked. I said, "Well, what in the Sam Blazing Hills did he do to deserve that particular comment?" And so then I said to her, not defending men, but defending men. I said to her, why would you go down that particular path if all he was trying to do was be a good Samaritan? And she was like, "I don't think he was trying to be a good Samaritan." And I said, "Well, hold on. I said, me being a critical thinker. Oh, and the disclaimer that I was going to put at the beginning of this process, so that I don't wind up with all them pitchforks, especially since Nikki Carter is on air, is that when I am speaking and asking that question about do women of color, I am saying that for three different reasons. One, the data pool of information that I have is limited to my own personal experiences and where I've heard those comments come from, which in my particular sector of information, it has only been that I've heard women of color saying it. It does not mean that Black women are the only ones that do say it. I'm only asking the question because with my own ears, with my own ears, I've only ever heard Black women say it. But that's not to imply that white or Asian or Latino women could not have done it. I'm only asking the question about Black women because I've heard it more than one time from some Black women. So I'm talking about some, not all, when I talk about these issues. So, matter of fact, let me go and get some spotlight. So right now, the Legal Beagle says, shaking my head. See, that's why I say some. Absolutely. Nikki Carter said, if he said, "Do you need help?" he didn't specify what kind of help he was planning on providing. But hold on, the pitchfork queen. And that is the reason why, first and foremost, for if someone says, and the general rule of thumb is, and let me describe the person who put it out there. Her demeanor was very matter of fact, and she implied that she implied that his type was the type that be trying to come on to her. Which caused me to ask the question, did he ask you for your number? Did he ask you if you had a man? Did he ask you any personal information? To which her answer was no. Because I am not just a person out here defending the male perspective. I ask critical, real questions, because sometimes if you don't ask the questions, you might not get to the bottom of the information. So when she says no to these things, this man didn't say anything that would have led her, didn't do anything that would have led her in this particular case. Doesn't mean she has not had a experience in the past. But he said, hey, you want me to help you with that? And I know for a fact, being a man, that sometimes men might see women pumping their gas and they may have been raised a particular way. And he may have thought, hey, look, she looks like she's on her way to work. Maybe he was trying to ensure she didn't get no gas on her clothing or anything. He was trying to be what some people might call a gentleman. But the smart comment coming out of her mouth is, how you gonna help her? You gonna pay for the gas? And that's exactly how she said it. Head movement, neck movement. So the thing for me is, what brings that type of energy on? James said, why not just ask? Why not just ask what, James? I want to give you a chance to clarify that. Legal Beagle said, who cares the help? It's either yes or no. And ladies, maybe I'm missing something. So I invite you all to contextualize the mindset of a woman, because from the mindset of a man, James said he was responding to Nikki. Nikki Carter talking about James Key, she did ask. But look at what she asked. And the tone and context must be also associated with the neck movement and body language, and the fact that she says she get tired of these men trying to be slick and come on. But when asked what did he say that led her to believe he was trying to come on, she talking about because he was licking his lips and had a little swag. And I said, well, look, I've had people accuse me on this very show that, hey, you be licking your lips a lot. They my lips. And I'm talking. And I like to keep them moist. And sometimes I may not have chapstick. But how does me licking my lips? James said, why not just ask him what would he like to help with? Absolutely, James. Excuse me. And so licking your lips does not imply that I'm trying to holler at you. But she said because of the man's body language, although her story was he pulled up, and when he got out of his car, he looked at her and asked, do you need some help with that? Now y'all know how I get down. I began to ask women today at my work site how they would have approached this. And while my pool of non-Black women was small, limited to about 6, white women that I asked the question to said they would have never assumed that a man that saw them pumping their gas and pulled up and got out his car was asking them if they wanted him to pay for it. They would have assumed that he was trying to help them pump the gas. Nikki Carter talking about men licking their lips. What about it? Nikki Carter, do you not lick your lips from time to time? I'm just saying. Now, my dismay was out of about 13 or 14 Black women that I asked the question to, that many of them, greater than 50%, says, why was he asking? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm thinking he's trying to be a gentleman based on the facts admitted into evidence. Nikki Carter talking about men do it trying to be sexy. So hold on. I know John Brown well, that a woman, especially not no light-skinned woman, but a woman in general, is not implying that a man simply licking his lips is trying to be sexy for a woman at a gas pump because he licked his lips. Now, if he'd have licked her lips, that would have been one thing. But licking his own lips on his own face and offering help, she said when the man pulled up, when he got out the car, that's the first thing he asked. So he wasn't sitting there stalking her. Legal Beagle said, don't assume anything, either yes or no. There was no need to ask the question, in my opinion. I agree with Legal Beagle. Nikki Carter talking about don't get distracted. Girl, please. And so as I begin to pull the people around the job site and to hear the difference in the natural thought process of a person, the thought process, greater than 50% of the black women was suspicious of a man that saw a woman at a gas pump and asked if she needed any help. James said some men lick their lips before they speak. That's routine. Tell them about it. That's natural. And so I noticed this thing about, hold on for a second. Nikki Carter talking about his body language and tone would be a factor. Nikki Carter, why? Why would it be a factor? If she said the man never asked her for a number, didn't make any comments about her physical characteristics, didn't say anything to her other than, do you need some help with that? White women didn't say that his tone and body language would have made a difference. They thought it was a kind gesture. Black women became suspicious of his motive. And that leads us to these deeper conversations tonight. And the reason why I asked the general question is, do women of color place themselves out of the dating and marriage market because of their demands and attitudes and the way that they act? And again, we're talking about some, not all. Nikki Carter said, okay, lip liquor, that doesn't mean he was sending out feelers. No, it absolutely does not mean he was sending out feelers. And if Nikki Carter, James said it's only a factor if you're looking for a factor. Absolutely. And Nikki Carter, let's go back to you for a second. Because I can imagine if you had been one of those ones that I spoke with this morning, I can imagine that your antennas, your feelers, if you will, would have led you to believe that there was something sinister or nefarious on the mind of a man, of a black man who simply asked a woman at a gas pump, do you need any help with that? Now you're saying that licking lips when you get out the car, your lips, your own lips that's yours to do whatever. Again, I asked critical questions. How long was he there? She said when the man pulled up, the first thing he did when he got out the car was ask, hey, do you need any help with that? Nikki talking about I would have let him pump if that's what he wants to do. The point is that even when you begin to understand the nature of this interaction, Nikki Carter, you went to the same mind at least 6 women out of 15 went to and asked that black, but none of the white went down that road. They all went down the path of this is a guy trying to be helpful. And I think that the cumulative information is part of the disparaging fact that some, not all, but a significant enough portion of black women have this thing about the way that they view the world and certainly how they view black men. And if Legal Beagle, if you, and I'm using the phrase if as to not assume, but ladies, if you see the optics of a man upon sight as being up to no good. First of all, let me say this to you, and I mean this with all due respect. You think very highly of yourself and what you must believe you look like or shape like or smell like or whatever. If you think, now I'll put this information out there to give you context. I am normally in my office around 5:30, 5:45 in the morning. So this person is certainly there before 6:30 in the morning. If you think that black men are so thirsty to be in your face, to get up against you, to come on to you, that they're getting up at 5 in the morning and meeting you and lurking around a gas station to ask you, can they pump your gas with the hopes that they can holler at you, you're a fool. Most men up at 6 in the morning are either coming from work and or going to work. We ain't talking about from the club. We talking about a Wednesday morning. But many of you, not all, think so highly of yourselves. You have overvalued the essence of yourself in general, that you believe that a man simply asking you if you needed some help pumping gas meant he was trying to holler at you. And even if he was. Now, there is no indication from the person who shared this experience with us this morning that this man did anything. And I asked the questions because I wanted to make sure. But even if he was trying to come on to you, if his way of coming on to you was, can I pump your gas so you don't get no gas on your clothing? If that's the way that a man was coming on to you, you ought to be thankful. Because that would be the type of individual that would show that he had some level of care and concern for the outcome of something. She indicated when asked that the man didn't make any slick comments, but assessed that the reason why he didn't or didn't have a chance to was because she checked him first. Excuse me, and that's another thing. Why are black women always bragging about, some, not all, bragging about how you check somebody? That's the reason why some of you can't get and or keep a man, because you always in check a Negro mode. You say it, some of you all, not all, with a big mark on your chest, like you really doing something. I checked him. I shut that down. You shut down what? Somebody trying to help you at a gas pump? But you swear up and down when a black man gets into a relationship with someone outside of his race that he's doing it because he's looking for someone who is submissive or he's doing XYZ. No, in many cases, he's tired of you and your attitudes and your self-righteousness and your demanding and demeaning attitude toward him. Because he could have got out that car and asked a white woman, and according to those pooled at the workplace, although it be a small pool, each one of them said, hey, I would have at least thought he was trying to be helpful. But not the black woman. Between 5 and 6 in the morning, you already in check a Negro mode. But you wonder why. Why, oh, why is it that you see the black man is always up to something. Now I can see if you was just leaving the club, had on some old well-fitted dress. I could see if you were in an environment by which it might cause a regular man, regardless of his race, to see something about you that would make him want to come on to you. But you was in some regular work clothes. You was a regular person. Not attractive nor unattractive. You were just a regular person on your way to work, but you felt like because he asked you, do you need some help pumping the gas, that you was going to check him. And that's the reason why some, not all, men, certainly black men, stop trying to pour into you all because you're incapable, some, not all, of receiving anything because you so full of holes inside of you. What Nikki Carter talking about? But how did she describe the entire interaction? Nikki Carter, have you not been listening? Because maybe he was aggressive. Nikki Carter. What's going on, Esther Shepherd? Glad to see you. Nikki Carter, let me give you the 10-second version of this again, because you're looking for the defense of her. All she said was this morning, while at the Sheetz gas station, that she was pumping her gas and a man pulled up in a vehicle in the lane with her in her vicinity. And the first thing he did when he got out the car was ask her if she needed any help with that. Annie Moore, glad to see you. And when he asked her if she needed any help with that, her response to him is, how you gonna help me? Are you gonna pay for this gas? Now, that was it. When I asked her, did he ask for your number? No. Did he say anything about your physical characteristics? No. Did he say anything that led you to believe that he was trying to come on to you? And she said that the dude was licking his lips. Nikki Carter talking about maybe that was his way of flirting. So you think, now, and again, I'm not denying that it could be, because I don't know every woman's experience, but let's say he was flirting. The man was flirting by asking if he could do some work for you. James said that's a mindset. I agree, James. After she asked him to pay, he backtracked, because I'm sure the man wasn't thinking, if I help this lady who is pumping her own gas, then I'm gonna have to go in my pocket and pay for the gas. Come on now. Why should he have to pay for your gas to help you? Nikki Carter says, stop minimizing. James said he would have backtracked too. First of all, Nikki Carter, I am not minimizing nor marginalizing what the woman said. I'm telling you what she said. You can form your own opinion, but I want you to understand from the mindset of a black man that to even think that this man, who she says didn't make any intimate advances toward her, he pulled up, and when he got out the car, he saw she was pumping her gas, and he said, do you need any help with that? And the black woman was the one that said, how you gonna help me? Are you gonna pay for this gas? I told you, when I pulled the white women on the job, they thought he was trying to do an act of kindness. Nikki Carter talking about he got scared. Scared of what? You mean he was bold enough to get out of his car and ask if you needed some help, but he got scared when you asked about paying for it? No, he probably got back in his car or stood and waited for his opportunity, because he probably said, look at this $2 whatever up here, thinking that somebody who's trying to be nice, she asking me like I'm her payday this morning. James said he ain't no hater. I help pump gas all the time. So now, Nikki Carter, what are you saying about that? James said he do good deeds all the time. And he said when he do the good deeds, he ain't trying to holler at. He's just trying to do a good deed. White women, when asked about it, got it. But it just doesn't. And this is indicative of what I'm talking about. And again, I preface this to all of you who are watching, regardless of where. Thank you for joining tonight. I am not saying all women. I am not saying all black women. But I am certainly telling you that this isn't the first time that I've heard a similar comment by a black woman. And when I pulled black women on the job today, that of the 14 or 15 that I may have spoken to, at least 6 of them thought that the black dude was up to something. And so we go back to the point of talking about, is this mindset and attitude the reason why some, not all, black women find themselves unable to be in relationships or dating or marriage or whatever? Is it your own attitudes that have y'all out here? So don't no brothers really want to deal with some of you all because it's you. If you could have seen her say, and that, no, he didn't because I checked him. At 6 in the morning, you checking somebody. And that's part of the reason. Again, can't nobody pour into some of you all because you're never in receiving mode. You can't receive anything. There's an expectation in your mind of a sense of entitlement that he ought to do something. Why would you even ask if he's talking about paying for something? Black women, some, not all, are the first to say about how independent you are. But this man trying to see, maybe he just didn't want you to get no gas on your clothes or whatever. He asking if you need help, you asking for a payday. And why would somebody else's man potentially need to pay for your gas? Now, that's a good question. Nikki Carter talking about because he asked if you need help. And the mind of the black woman who was in this particular situation went to, yeah, are you going to help me by paying for my gas? Now, remember, one key factor was she was already pumping the gas when he got there. So most of these pumps, you got to pay before you pump. Nikki said him paying for her gas was the help she needed. Really? That's where we going. That's where you want to go. See, there's a challenge here. First and foremost, why is it that some, not all, black women are different from other women when it comes to their level of neediness? How should black men be expected to deal with black women and adjust to women when some of you all have multiple personalities? 1 minute you aggressive and checking them. The next you want to be in charge of the relationship and home. The next you want to appear delicate and want the man to be understanding to your emotional needs and things. James said that ain't the help she needs. Cassandra laughing. Essence said she could have said no thank you. See, that's a grown woman right there talking. But there is this thing that black men, in some cases, not all, seeking to deal with the African-American woman, has consistently found themselves in their ire And with these split personalities that some, not all of you have, where you've got this thing about you that you're not going to listen, you're not going to learn, you're going to dominate, you're going to check them, you're going to do all of these things, and then you're going to sit back and say, you're not sensitive enough. To who and what? If you're in check a Negro mode all the time, where would his level of sensitivity come from? If you always complaining, if you're always finding some type of problem with him, if what he's saying and doing isn't good enough, why would the black man be in pursuit of you when you are always in combative mode until you're not? And then when you're not, you're sitting up and you're saying he doesn't understand me. He's not sensitive enough to my needs. Which need? Your need to fight, your need to yell, your need to presume that he is something that he's not, your bipolar needs, your split personality needs. And many of you will become mad about that and say there's nothing to joke about, and I'm not joking. If 1 minute you can be mad at someone or find something negative with someone who approaches you and asks if you need help pumping your gas, if you're in check somebody mode at 6 a.m., but then you all of a sudden instantly turn into something soft and sensitive and decry that you wanted someone or needed someone or expect someone, the black man, to be understanding and compassionate. How he know when to switch gears with you? See, if he goes and deals with a Latino or a Caucasian woman or Asian woman, he ain't got to deal with all that. Now, let me put a little disclaimer out there. Unless the white woman he dealt with been hanging out with sisters, then he might be getting the effects of the storm, if you will. And brothers, let me say this. If you out there cross-pollinating across different demographics, I'm not judging. But make it clear, you need to check the circle of acquaintances before you commit to something, because you might go get you a white girl with black girl tendencies, depending on if she's been hanging out with them sisters too long. And I'm not saying all, but some black women are negative influences of other denominations, other cultures. I know some of y'all gonna be mad, but I'm telling the truth. Man, if you are dating someone from outside of your race and your race happens to be African American, and you allow her to start hanging out with African American homegirls, it might be plausible that she might begin to change. Matter of fact, bad attitudes in some, not all black women is like COVID-19. You can be around a black woman with a bad attitude. I ain't talking about the good ones. You can be around a black woman with a bad attitude, and it can be just like COVID. Standing within 6 feet or less of her, it can begin to rub off, and next thing you know, ladies, you'll go home and act just like that angry sister that you hung out with. Nikki Carter said it might not be that, but it would be something else. Probably. And I'm just trying to say, because I'm trying to help you, those sisters out there that are having these challenges, I want you to understand it's not that the black man would want to run away from the possibilities of a positive relationship with a black woman that is long-standing, it's you treat those relationships are like unicorns sometimes. They're hard to find because there's something inside some of you, be it the past, the present, or just something within your DNA that makes you hunger to be aggressive or sinister or suspect of a black man. And I'm going to say this, and some of y'all going to be mad when I say it, because I've seen some black women get with white men, and man, y'all attitude totally different. Totally different. When I tell you that some of you who get with Caucasian males, you get around there and magically you learn how to act. You are receptive to him telling you anything. You will listen and agree, and you find yourself ingratiated in his ever-spoken word. But a black man can't even talk to you because while he talking to you, some, not all, you trying to spit the words out before he even get his conversation out. You don't even know what he gonna say. You so busy being in war mode, find a flaw mode, disconnect from context and situationalization mode that you just out here wilding just because he's trying to have a conversation. You don't even know how smart your man might be because you can't hear him. You couldn't possibly hear him because every time he opened his mouth, you're going to overtalk him. I ain't talking about none of y'all. We still talking about the woman at the gas station. And we talking about them 6 out of 15 who felt a little antsy about the man just saying, do you need help at the pump? We talking about the fact that why is it that a black man can't find physical, emotional, or mental refuge with some, not all, black women? And I wish I could get some brothers to speak up tonight, but I understand. Many of these brothers are living under duress as we speak. Some of them right now are probably listening and clenching their fist and tapping their feet, might got their little toes crossed inside of their bed shoes in agreement with me, but they can't speak up. James said 2 things to turn a man off or away is a loud and or bad attitude. Loud woman, bad attitude, turn off for black men. Well, actually turn off for all men. I just tend to find that I can't find a lot of examples of black women who go outside their race who act the same way when they with their white man. And I know you ain't acting that way with the Latino brother, because Poppy don't play that. And you certainly ain't acting that way with the men from Africa and Haiti, because you'll get sent back over there or get a little attitude adjustment. But the man of color, the black man in America, Big Rod, where you been, man? We was missing you, brother. But the black man in America, when attempting to deal with some, not all black women, is confronted with the mindset of she's going to marginalize him. She's going to be aggressive. He wants to help her at the gas pump. She sees him as the enemy. He's up to something. But some black women, not all, treat black men just like them folks do when you walk through the store. They suspicious of you on sight. And so they treat you like a common criminal on sight. You can take the best of a black man and either break him down or turn him off by your attitude and unwillingness. Because let's be clear, I don't know many men in general, and certainly not no black man, that want to go out into the world every day and fight the battles of trying to be a professional or successful and want to come back to the house and had to go to war with you or one of your split personalities. Black men, I'm going to say this today. Stop trying to be nice. If you see a black woman who looks like she may need some help, shut up, dude. Don't approach her. You don't have to subject yourself to her aggressive mindset, trying to be nice and be a gentleman to her because she's not used to it. Do like you do when the police come around. Mind your own business. Let them pump their own gas. James said, I hope you clean them out. And I'm just keeping it real, people. Because somebody has to say it. And again, to all of the good black women who are out here and been holding these brothers down, I ain't talking about y'all. But y'all know that everything I'm speaking tonight, that this is unfortunately not an isolated incident. That these attitudes and things that black men are having to deal with, miss me with that. I mean, she really assessed that this man at 5 something or 6 something in the morning was out here trying to holler at her. And while it's not impossible to think that someone might, you got to be full of yourself to think that's why he got up this morning and jumped out his car when he saw you putting gas in your car. Was I just got to ask her, can I help her pump her gas? Because maybe that's going to give me an opportunity to do what? Sleep with you? Holler at you? Girl, please. I'm offended. I am actually offended at the fact that y'all feel like brothers is so hard up that they round here and their mindset is, let me deal with you, let me go and do nice things, let me do all this, because at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm thinking about sleeping with somebody I don't even know. Half these dudes don't even want to sleep with the person they do know. But you out here thinking you that fine, you that special, that a man that just wanted to help and be a gentleman by offering to pump gas for you was trying to holler at you, so you gonna check him. What y'all done did is y'all done checked some for so long that these brothers is tired of dealing with you. You done checked so much that you done checked yourself out. Chris Parks, that's what up, brother. Chris laughing because you know I'm telling the truth. And he said, I think that woman was tripping. If that was me, I would have told him, thank you, but I got it. Just that simple. I would not expect a stranger to pay for my gas. He'll probably think twice before he asks to help again. See, grown woman talk right there. Keep it a stack with him, Annie. Do y'all see the difference in the mindset of a grown woman like Annie Moore and Essie Shepherd versus old Nikki Carter? Nikki Carter talking about the man was suspicious. She had a reason to treat him that way. No, she didn't. She didn't have to have a reason at all. Most of you don't have to have a reason. Some of you don't have to have a reason. Some of y'all on ghost status all the time. Chris Park said at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to get to my workout. Right. Black man out here trying to do something nice, trying to show something different, trying to be more than just somebody out here toking on weed at any time of the day. Black man on his way to work, sees a black woman presumably on her way to work, tries to be a gentleman. She checking them early in the morning. And if you checking somebody at 6 in the morning, you trying to check somebody at 6 in the evening. And let me say this. excuse me, as a matter of principle, black men is tired of getting checked and all that cheap talk. We deserve the same things that white men and Latino men and Asian men get. We deserve a fair opportunity to be in a relationship where we don't have to be at war with the person on the other side of the pillar. We deserve the right to be able to come home from fighting folks in the street and have a docile conversation. We deserve to be able to come home from a hard day's work and not have to say anything. You always talking about why your man don't understand you foreign language. It's because we don't know what personality we are dealing with in the moment. It's like dealing with an alien. And I'm not saying black women are aliens by any moment, any minute, any second. But I'm saying the things that black men are subjected to are different. Big Rod said paying for a woman gas to impress is for the movie. Let's get to know each other, because if you check me, then it's checkmate for you. Say it again, Brother Rod. Brother Rod just told y'all how every man feel. All that jaw jacking, all that aggression, Mrs. Des, if you that aggressive in something, go be by yourself. Nikki Carter talking about keep defending Mr. Clyde. Hey, call it what you want. I got a dream that one day black men will stop being the targets of those who they should be able to sit down and pour themselves into. Some, not all black women. That's my dream. I got a dream that one day black men will be able to have a voice, that at 6 o'clock in the morning and trying to do a good deed, they won't be marginalized and looked at like a criminal. That's my dream. I got a dream that some, not all black women will be able to shut up long enough to listen to the man and know whether or not he knows what he's talking about, so that they might receive some understanding and grow. That's my dream. I got a dream that black men don't have to go date a white woman just so he can find peace in a relationship. I got a dream that a black man doesn't have to go and find a Latino woman to find some respect in their relationship. I got a dream that a black man doesn't have to go find an Asian woman to find someone who will have children with him and not tell the children that you ain't got to listen to your dad. That's my dream. And like Dr. King, I may not live long enough to get there with you. It might not be possible because you got more than 100 years of I'm checking somebody built up inside. Nikki Carter talking about she's shaking her head. James said, keep defending Miss attitude. Tell her, James. Nikki Carter said, say the speech when you defend black women. I defend black women. The problem is you don't ever want to talk about the realness of some, not all black women. Because when you say something, and then I don't know if this is you for the show or the real you, but I've never really heard you come to the aid and defense of a black man. You're always pro-woman, and that's okay. Fight your battles. Check them early in the morning if you want to. But I would dare to say this, and I won't ask because it would be inappropriate on this show, but I'd be interested to know, one, if you got a man, and if you got one, do you treat him like you talk on the show? I believe Nikki Carter is a good person, but I also believe she's like 60% or greater of American black women that walk around a lot of times thinking that I'm going to check, I'm going to make somebody be a certain kind of way, that ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. Well, what you really meant was ain't no black man gonna tell you what to do, because you ain't standing up, bucking up, yelling down, and confronting no white man like that. Because magically you know how to act when you deal with somebody who's white. Anymore say, I agree with your dreams. I ain't mad at you for speaking the truth. That's what I'm talking about. Grown woman activity right there. Nikki Carter say, I'm a sweetheart. I believe you might be. I believe that you might be out here pressing forward for those that you feel like need defending. Big Rod said, Nikki, why don't you say anything good toward men, or you are fronting for us on this show? And I don't know if she is or not. I believe she's well thought out. I believe Nikki thinks about everything she says on this show. And I'm not going to browbeat Nikki, but Nikki, I need you to talk to the folks with them pitchforks and let these black women understand, some, not all, that when you cannot find a long-term relationship with a black man, you will understand because you can't sleep with a man enough to cover up your disdain for him, your disrespect for him. It doesn't matter that you got a flat stomach. It doesn't matter the size of your breast or your behind. At a certain point, the only thing that matters to that man is, can he find peace in his own dwelling? And if you ain't got that, it don't matter how cute you are. It don't matter how your hair look, makeup look, fingernails look, toes look. None of that don't matter if what looks bad is the inside of you. Nikki talking about I always say good things about black men. Yeah, you might say it, but just not on the show. Anyway, people, y'all know I don't even normally take up more time, but I have tonight with y'all. And I want to leave y'all with this little thought tonight, because this was not about the bombardment of good black women. This was not even about the bombardment of information toward those black women who have resulted to this type of behavior. This was an emotional call to arms to let black women know that you are the one that are pricing and placing yourself out of dating and relationships when it comes to the African-American man, because he's exhausted. He's simply exhausted. Y'all have a good night, people.
It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah.